Hi, everybody. This is Audrey Moore, the Audrey Helps Actors podcast, and this is episode 126. Feeling some tricks, investigating some tricks to stay in the mix of your career and just maybe like elbow your competition out. Just, like an aggressive elbowing, maybe a friendly, just like, today's my day, ladies and gentlemen. It's my role now. But however you want to do it, we're here for you. Episode 126. And today we have Natalie Keezer. Natalie is an actor who moved from Salt Lake City to Los Angeles, not once, but twice. Los dos. She's a UCB grad and the winner of Self-Tape May 2024. Whoa! Explosion crowds. Today we discuss moving to a different market, managing burnout, how to watch your own self-tape performance objectively, and Natalie's Self-Tape May experiences, tips, and tricks. Speaking of Self-Tape May 2025 is starting this week, Thursday. Are you ready? All you have to do is upload 16 tapes in the month of May on Instagram with the hashtag Self-Tape May. That's it. It's free. It's an awesome community. You're awesome. So do it. There are only 2 rules. If it's a real self-tape, put it on mute. Don't get in trouble. Put it on mute. If it's material that hasn't aired, put it on mute. When in doubt, mute it. On Thursday, I will announce a special thing. It's like a thing that you have to include in every self-tape so that I know you're recording it in May and not beforehand like a cheater pumpkin eater. It is not Halloween time. There's no pumpkin eating here. Take a look on Thursday on Instagram or on selftapemay.com to find out what you need to include. Otherwise, there's no rules. I mean, listen, you guys, do a monologue, do one line, do the same line 16 different ways. There are no Self-Tape May police. They are not coming for you. But I do have a special request. You don't have to do this, but I would love it if you did some romantic comedies. We need more romantic comedies in our lives. And at the end of May, one random person who completes 16 tapes will win our prize package consisting of a 1-year premium membership to casting networks, a free coaching session with self-tapes here, and so much more. Sign up now for free, my favorite price, free, for so free at selftapemay.com to be eligible for the prize package and so I can see your self-tapes. You know what? It's okay if you don't finish all 16 tapes because this season's theme is grace. We need to give ourselves and each other some grace. Here's what I would love for you to do. I would love for you to say, I'm just going to get 2 self-tapes done in the month of May. Let's just do 2. Let's do 2 co-star self-tapes. You can do 2 in the month of May. And then if you feel like doing more, do another one. And if you're like, I'm going to do 16, and then you get to 2 and you're like, nope, that's not happening, it's fine. The Audrey Helps Actors police are not coming for you. And I'm sure you'll learn something in the time that you took to do any self-tapes at all. All right, we have a lot of reviews. You have all been so generous with reviews, and there are so many that I'm going to mention half of you this week, and we'll get the rest of you next week. But thank you to Sarah McSimmons, live stream failure. Even though it was a 1-star review, I kind of love a 1-star review. I'm always like, it feels like my own scandalous like gossip on my own works. Like, what did they say? I'm a nice girl, and I'm a nice girl. Macamee, Chesterton forever. I hope Chesterton is your dog. Madigan Rear, Shoshana Wilder, Red Heavens 17, John Robert W, Josie Carstensen, An actor prepares. Hey, I get it. An actor prepares. Ashley Sexton with an EA, not an EY. Tiffany Rousseau, love of this podcast. Thank you for your views. So take 10 seconds and go to ratethispodcast.com/Audrey. That's ratethispodcast.com/Audrey. This week's podcast is brought to you by acting coach Jeff Pride at Self Tapes Here on Instagram, and also by the voice teacher Greg Saffel at singinglessonslosangeles.com. I hope you're on your way to an audition or a self-tape session, and I hope you book it. Just elbow that competition out of the way like, I'm coming through. It's my job. It's my job. It's my job.
Audrey helps actors because they don't know anything.
Hi, everybody. I'm Audrey Moore with the Audrey Helps Actors podcast. And today we have
Natalie.
Tell everybody your last name.
I'm Natalie Keezer.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi,
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm so glad to have you on.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
So you are our Self-Tape May winner for 2024. Huzzah!
Yay!
Yay! I love that that went like down. We're going to do the other way. Yay!
Yay!
California's been through we've been through a bit. So I wanted to just sort of talk to you about Self-Tape May and anything else that you want to talk about today.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit about, are you repped? Are you union? Do you audition for what kinds of things? Give us a
Okay,
scoop.
so a little bit of my story is
Right.
that I have been living in Salt Lake City, Utah. Prior to moving here, like end of 2023.
Okay.
And so I have reps in Utah still, but I don't have reps here in LA yet.
Okay.
So as far as like what I do here, I am involved with UCB and then I'm a theater gal.
Yeah.
So I work full time at a theater company here in
Oh,
LA.
cool.
That's a lot of the stuff I'm doing. And then I still audition for stuff in Utah. I don't audition for everything I get submitted for because they film commercials there like all the time.
Yes.
Which is great, but the money is not.
It's so weird. Right to work for less state. You mean
Yeah,
they're not
right.
up to paying you tons of money?
No.
It's crazy how that
yeah,
works.
yeah. So typically the stuff that I'll audition for in Utah still is like features and Yellowstone,
Yes.
that kind of stuff.
So tell everyone who's maybe thinking about coming to LA why that first bit of like getting an apartment, if you're from anywhere else, is a really big challenge here.
So it is a really big challenge here. And I also was naive in the sense that like the challenge when I first moved here in 2010 was nothing compared to what it is now.
No.
So in 2010, actually getting an apartment was not that hard. I was like shocked. They were like, sure, here you go. No problem. Like it was really easy. This time around, not the case. Renters have become way more cautious. And so, yeah, I had to go through the ringer. I mean, I had to have a job and I felt very lucky at the time because I was still working remotely for my job in Utah. I luckily have good credit. It still wasn't enough though. I mean, they wanted everything. They wanted to see my bank statements.
Yeah,
they
do.
wanted to see everything. I was like, I feel violated.
Yeah.
The good thing was that I was able to rent from a friend, stay at her house. It was great. That way I could actually like look at apartments in person.
Great.
I was actually able to get an additional job while I was here staying with her. So I had extra income because
Wonderful.
my income, of course, in Utah wasn't enough to cover my apartment.
I would also love to know about getting involved in Self-Tape May.
Yeah. So I had done Self-Tape May in 2020
Oh,
when I
I
was
didn't
living
see
in
that
Salt
page.
Lake. And it was great. I didn't even know it was an option that you could keep your tapes private. I just made mine public because I thought that was part of the rules. Then I started hearing like people being like, oh no, I'm going to make mine private. And I was like, I didn't know that was a choice. But I'm so glad I made them public actually, especially during 2020 because everyone was everyone was watching each other's tapes and commenting and being so supportive and cheering each other on. It was just all the way around like a really lovely experience.
So tell me, what did you learn from that? Did you feel like, oh, I'm just getting in front of the camera because you had done so much theater?
Yeah. I think at that time I'd been doing all in-person auditions.
Yeah. It is crazy. Like, I was really glad that by the time 2020 hit, that we had had a few self-tape Mays already, and there was already a community that was like, welcome to self-tapes, and could help each other and support each
Yes.
other through that transition, which for many people is a very terrifying and uncomfortable transition.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I've talked to actors that are a little bit older than I am who were very successful, but they said, I'm not doing it anymore. I just can't imagine how overwhelming it would be to just figure out the tech side of everything. Like,
God,
I
wow.
felt overwhelmed. Like,
God, you're so right. I don't even think
Like-
about that because I live with Jesse.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. If it had been me figuring it out without him, I think I would have been angry, if I'm being honest. Like, a lot of people already had a lot of anger in the sense of like, I can't believe all this is being asked of us.
yeah.
But I think I would have been even more angry if I didn't have all of that already sort of set up and understood.
Yeah.
If I felt like, oh, I'm going to have to also learn sound.
Right. I mean, which brings us back to Self-Tape May
Yeah.
and how amazing it is because there are people in that community. Like, for example, I figured out where to get my backdrop and all kinds. Well, you're amazing because you post a lot of like suggestions on your website.
When people tell me I'm amazing, I'm really here for it, you guys.
You're so
well, you're amazing.
Amazing.
Tell me more. Here.
But like, I mean, if anyone's listening and is like, I've never self-taped before, what do I do? Go to your website and you have all of the suggestions of like, this is the ring light that I get. This is the mic that I get. But then doing self-tape May, there was some obviously very seasoned people who had already, like you were saying, had been doing it long before I started doing it in 2020, who I'm like, oh my gosh, their lighting is so good. And their backdrop is so good. They look so, their skin looks luminous.
Yes.
What do I do? How do I do this?
How do I get the luminous skin?
Like, how do I do this? I'm like all of a sudden panicking. I'm like, does my skin have to look like that? But then they're so sweet because they answer questions. You know,
Yes.
where'd you get that backdrop? What are you doing? And oh my gosh, I wish I could remember her name right now. She's part of your community,
Right.
and she even posted a video. She was like, "Hi, I've been getting a lot of messages about what my setup is."
Amber?
Yes, the 100%. I've been here's my setup for
Yeah.
everybody, and she posted it on there, and that was like super helpful for me too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
like that helped me figure out a lot of the like tech side of things.
And did you feel like then when you wanted to do self-tape May this time, did you have like a goal in mind? Usually when people do the first one, they're just like survive. That's like, I'm going to do 16 tapes and see if I do 16 tapes.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, it's really like, oh, can I survive and have maybe another little something I want to work on?
So first of all, I'd forgotten things. So I had to like my mic. I was like, I was literally just moved into my place and I was like, where's my mic? I had to have someone mail that to
But
me.
so like great to also have something to get all that in order
Yes.
before like an audition came.
Yes. Yeah, no, it was absolutely that.
Right.
Like my first few tapes are like, I don't have my backdrop yet. I don't have my mic. I don't have my setup. I don't have the space that
That's
I'm doing
great
it
though
in
that
yet.
you did it. I just love that you were like, let's just get on the horse and we're going to figure it out, because I do think a big thing is people, especially I think when it comes to social media or really getting started on anything that people know they need to get started on, is the overwhelmment of where you know you want to be versus where you're going to start at.
Yes.
Is so much pressure. And if people could just give themselves a little bit of grace and say, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 16 tapes to figure all that out, instead of having 16 tapes that I feel like are performance ready or whatever your idea of that is, but I'm going to take it to sort of get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Great.
And then it shifted to I want to do co-stars and series regulars. So that's what I would do. That ended up being my goal. After like the first 4, I was like, okay, I'm going to pick sitcoms.
Yes.
And I'm going to pick 2 from each sitcom. It was great too because it helped me organize it in my head. Like, okay, I know I'm doing 2 from Frasier.
Tell everybody about sides, because like the biggest thing everyone is like, what do I do about sides?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, how do I find sides? Where? That's my impression, I guess, of all of you. Audrey, where do I find my sides?
I feel like that's pretty accurate.
That is like our inner actor voice, like, oh God,
Yeah.
where do I find my sides?
do?
And so, what did you do in terms of getting prepared, if anything, in terms of sides and things like that?
I'd actually been in this acting for sitcoms class like in January, and we had gotten some sides the teacher had given us like as part of the process or whatever, so that was kind of helpful. So I had some of those things to pull from.
And did you ask the teacher in specific for sides, or do they have like a website where they have like lots of sides
he
posted?
had given us a side like assignments, and they were all ones that have already aired. You know, there was no worry about like.
I love that. So essentially what you're doing is you were sort of doing your classwork in tandem with Self-Tape May, and so you're sort of working some of them out at home as a self-tape and also going to class and working them out there.
Well, so I had finished the class in like January, February.
I see.
But he gave us all the sides because we were readers in the class and stuff. So I had sides that other people had done in the class.
And I just want to say to everyone, there's no cheating with Self-Tape May. Like, take stuff that you have done before. It is so beneficial to take stuff that you've done before from a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it is, and be like, what if I was doing this now? And first of all, you will feel a lot better internally because you will already see how much you've grown. You know, make this easy on yourself. My theme, I think, for this season, I've been really like going back and forth. I had like a theme, and then the fires happened, and I was like, No. Don't worry. It wasn't like, let's light a fire under our ass. Like it wasn't set this town ablaze with ourselves. Like it wasn't that, but it didn't feel, I'd say, appropriate. And so now that so many in the industry from top to bottom are so affected.
Yeah.
My theme, I think, is just grace. Yeah. Like just give ourselves grace, give each other grace. I just want everyone to sort of being nicer to themselves in getting the ball rolling or keeping the ball rolling or, just holding on to that, hold on to those balls, you guys.
Yeah,
just tell them to chill out. Yeah. So, because I want everyone to be clear about, for me, the objective and intention with self-tape is that people feel like they are spending the time doing the practice and for free. Mm-hmm. Because in truth, you just got to get in front of it and do the thing.
And that's a big part of it too, is that like, because I do so much theater and improv and stuff like that, I had to get over myself and actually watch myself.
Oh, got it. It's so real. It's a huge thing. Yeah. Tell everybody about that. How was that?
It's not fun.
Yeah.
Like, especially at first, it's very cringy and uncomfortable. And I think that's the hardest thing. For me, I have to watch myself 3 or 4 or 5 times because the first, you have to get over like, what's my hair doing? Why did I make that face?
Yeah.
Why did I say it like that?
Yeah.
All of those kinds of things that you just, and then you're like, okay, but wait, now just like watch it for the storytelling. Are you telling the story?
Good.
Are you actually getting the message across? Are you doing what the character, because a lot of the time I don't think I'm always watching for that.
Right.
I'm watching for, things that are on my ego or whatever I'm in my head about.
Sure.
But I think that takes a lot of work for people to separate.
If we get like really nerdy, I want everyone to know that there's a few turning points with getting used to yourself on camera. So at first it's like, oh no, what happened to me?
That's not how I look.
I like my audience voices this season. And then after that, it's like, okay, so that's really like, and also you can do things, you start to go like, well, maybe if I light myself, then that thing goes away. Or maybe when I have my hair back, it gives maybe more of this kind of thing. And when you're watching other people's tapes too, which is what I love about Self-Tape May, you also see like, oh, that person's doing it that way, and they seem like they maybe look a little similar to me. So I'm going to try that kind of setup, or that kind of outfit, or that kind of hair makeup, or whatever it is. And then comes like the mastery of it, which I have to say is, yes, she's like, mastery? Tell me more. It starts to be really fun because this is a visual medium. And yes, we have all of our feelings and our body and voice to express all of those things. But it starts to get really fun. Like one thing for myself is I know that I have a really bright smile when I smile, and then my drop is really big. And so if I hadn't done a lot of camera work, I wouldn't know that I could go from a bright, full smile that lights up my entire face to a really sad, grumpy, it's like the face that your mom makes when you're in trouble. And that the difference between the two would be so far because most people either don't go as bright as I go, or they don't go as like, I'm getting the jowls, you guys. I'm getting the turtle jowls. But it's fabulous in terms of comedic beat, for sure. And also it's something I have to be aware of, because if I'm doing something where this is maybe it's a little too far, I have to just know that this on my face is already really pleasant and bright.
Yeah.
And somebody else who maybe doesn't have that in their expression maybe has to really feel like they're going like this in order for it to like start to warm up a little bit. But then it becomes a juicy, yummy buffet of possibilities of how to use your face in order to highlight a moment, in order to show that you're disinterested in the other character, and how effective those things are. And then they become part of like a weapons arsenal. Yeah. Of like, are you looking for a mean girl look? Are you looking for comedic timing of funny to angry? Boom, 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 boom. And it's just really fun. So I just want everyone to know, if you can get through the initial phase of uncomfortable and then move past the, okay, this is normal. And then the next phase is, oh, this is part of my arsenal.
Right. Yeah, that's so great and something that like I really am trying to work on because I have a very expressive face, which has been great for theater.
Sure.
It's worked great for me, but it's something that I definitely get in my head about when I watch myself on camera because I'll be like reminding myself, I'm like, okay, you're enough.
Yes.
What you're doing is enough.
Right.
You don't need to you don't need to go so big.
I do a thing when I'm taping, and I recommend this to everyone who maybe, if you are on the scale of knowing that your expression doesn't come out as easily, and people are always asking you like why you seem so tired and seem so mad, then that's usually like an indication that you're not expressing facially. And for that person, I say, always just start your audition practice at a 10.
Yeah.
Just start it at a 10 and just see if that was actually as grotesque as you felt like it felt inside.
Yeah.
And usually it's like, oh, there's my performance there. I'm showing up, but they have to go all the way. And for ham bones like you and I,
yes, that is a perfect
just like on my ham bones. My ham bones. Somebody like you and I always tell myself, you know what? I'm going to start at a 10. So like Audrey feels like she's having her good time. And then I'm going to go to a 5 and I'm going to go to a 1 right away. So that I start to see, okay, how much like performance is needed in here. Yes. What are you, and also what's working. And so often, especially when I get comedy, I'm just like, let's have a good time. We're gonna be so funny. Yeah. And generally, like the work carries it. The words carry it. And for me, and so if I start doing it at a 1, it's like I'm already on performance mode as a human being. Yeah. And so I don't actually need to go beyond a 1 usually. Yeah. And I'm like, you ham bone, Audrey.
And I'm like, okay, take it down. For me, every time I'm probably only like a 5.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
girl, you got to take it down. But also what I love about Self-Tape Made too is like, if you are a person who is curious about where you land on the dial, right? If you're not sure if your performance starts at 10 or if your performance starts at 1, or often people at different categories or different genres have different places where they show up. And you can say, I'm going to practice maybe the same scene this week. I'm going to do day 1, I'm going to do the scene at 1. And day 2, I'm going to do the scene at a 2. And just start to experiment with the performance scale. It's just like do you ever nerd about color theory? Do you know about color theory?
No.
Oh my God, I love color theory. So essentially, like if you have a blue next to a green, the blue will look more green. And then the same blue next to a purple, the blue will look more purple.
Ooh, okay.
And that's just how it works. And so when your performance is just you in front of a blank background, what works is often very different from what you're going to do on set. You have to sort of just like figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell everyone a little bit about, did you have a group already kind of assembled of people that you thought were going to help you?
Yeah, I had friends that were willing to read over Zoom with me, friends that had been readers with me before. I did do a couple with myself.
I saw. That was fun. I love it too because it's like, I have friends who are their own voice as a reader, and they work all the time. And people will try to convince me to convince them not to do that. And I'm like, they're working. If that works for them in terms of anxiety and time, energy, all of that sort of stuff, and they're working, we don't have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, for me, is especially in the place that I was when I was doing those ones, it was either like, do this or I'm not doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not happening. I wanted to like do it. And I have also like done that before where no one had any idea. Like I did it for a class and I was like, hey, everybody, I want to ask you, can you tell that I'm reading with myself in here? And they're like, no,
right.
Absolutely not.
Part of what can be good is using Self-Tape Made to find that out for you. When you have a reader opposite you, does it make a dramatic difference if you have somebody in person working with you? And if it does, then you can start to learn, how am I going to implement that in real auditions?
Right.
Because it is something that I find moves the needle for me. Or am I somebody that like getting in traffic and going to find be in person with somebody causes me so much stress and panic, and working with somebody, a reader over the internet, that's great for me because I can spend all that time I would spend driving. I can just spend it on the work and conserving my energy for the performance. And if you do that over 4 weeks and you take 1 week where you do one method, another week where you do another method, then you'll be able to look at that at the end of May and give yourself like a break, I think, to have some perspective and then go back and see.
And what I have noticed in that, so like I've had, people come to my house and like read with me, or like I have people read with me like over Zoom. And yes, having a reader in the room, I feel like for me is always better. But then when I did one of my prizes with Jeff Pride, that's when it was like a game changer. Then it was like, oh my, okay, this is now, okay, now if I could do this with him every single time I tape anything ever, I would feel like I'm a star.
And then I would love to talk about resources, right? Because one of the things that I started realizing, every level I get to, I find out what the bitches ahead of me are doing. And I'm like, fuck, what are you guys doing? And as you get more relationships and more money, which allows you to put more time into the acting. And then I started realizing like, oh my goodness, if somebody has the financial and energy and time ability to like drive to somebody as qualified as Jeff and not just work it for an hour, you guys, but like most professional actors that hire coaches, they're hiring them for hours. And I think like, oh my goodness, if I could just like every day work 3 hours with somebody as qualified as Jeff, there's no way I just wouldn't be so ready and so in shape and so like on point for anything I did.
Yeah.
But that's not cheap in time, energy, or money. And so I started seeing like I'm competing against people who have resources that I didn't quite yet have. And I just had to sort of act as if as well as I could. Yeah. And that for me meant just like doing exactly what you said of like I have myself and I'm gonna tape with myself and
it's gonna be
and we're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, but then like going and taping with Jeff, it was like, I'm proud of this. Like really feeling like the work that we did, like watching it afterwards and being like, oh my God, Jeff, I love you so much.
Yeah, right.
Like, I feel proud of this. Like I feel like I can watch this and be like, I like what I did.
Yeah.
And like feel confident like saying that. And so yeah, absolutely. I'm at this point now where I'm like, okay, now the question is, yes, I don't have the means or the time or the resources to film with him every time. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely will when it's something that I'm like, no, I need to go film this with him.
Great.
But then it's also like, okay, but what did we do in the room that I can bring home with myself? Like, what are these things that he did that I can remember? Like, oh yeah, he helped me get out of my head. Okay, hopefully I can help me get myself out of my head. Hopefully I can at least like get a friend to actually come over to my house.
Right. I find that's so big. I mean, one of the things I really want to encourage everyone is to start Self-Tape May and use it as an excuse to have and build and keep a community. Because I do feel like everyone is hibernating right now. And we're not a hibernating group of misfit toys. We thrive in artistic community.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why people choose acting. Because if they didn't like to be in a group, you literally would never choose this. You would go be a writer locked in your room with your computer. I'm married to one. I know how it goes. So please use this as a time to put together, start with 10 people and see who ends up, right? Also, I wanted to say a great thing to do for Self-Tape May, if you do have the ability to invest, is try out different coaches. And do the same scene with one coach and then do it with another one and then do it with another one and then take a different scene and do the same thing. That way you're starting to see maybe who gels with you best, either in a different genre or who do you gel best just in sort of like getting you maybe out of your head or who, for me, who can control your performance so that you're not, again, waiting until the opportunity happens to coach with somebody. Like everybody all the time is like, Audrey, I have my first recurring guest star audition. It's my second audition ever in Los Angeles. I've been here for 3 years and I need to know, who can I coach with tonight? And it's like, you guys, you're fucked already.
Yeah.
Like you're fucked. It's like during those 3 years, that's when you want to be working on that so that somebody has a relationship with you already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But wait, Natalie, wait. I have to interrupt you.
Help me. I need some help.
And now it's time for listener questions.
I'm so scared.
This listener question is brought to you by Jeff Pride at Self Tapes here on Instagram. Jeff Pride is awesome. Jeff Pride has been a session runner for 2 decades for commercials. If you don't know what that means, let me tell you. It means for 2 decades, 5 days a week, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Jeff Pride has welcomed in actor after actor after actor, all levels, and he has helped them to book jobs. Different material every time, improvisation included, use of props, use of camera. His job has been to help you figure out how to make it successful so you can book the job. I mean, where are you going to find somebody so qualified? I use his service myself. I think he's outstanding. He is a fantastic coach, and he's also an incredible actor who books commercials, comedies, broad multicams, all the way to intense, dark, heavy dramas. Please use a coach before you need one. Message Jeff on Instagram at selftapeshere. This listener question is also brought to you by Greg Saffel at singinglessonslosangeles.com. Greg is one of the best voice teachers I have ever had. He's literally written a book on voice training. It's called Finding Your Voice, and it's amazing. It helps you to match your voice to your casting, protect your voice from damage, eliminate vocal fry, and sound professional. Own the room with your authentic voice. Should I do? I'm going to do like, look at that range. You guys, that's, look, I mean, I've never heard so much vocal range in my entire life, and so much more. So pre-order the book or get a virtual lesson with a master himself at singinglessonslosangeles.com. Call me. Give me your actor questions. It's 667-ACTOR-70. That's 667-ACTOR-70.
Hey, Audrey. What's up? I've been listening to your podcast since 2019. My name's Aisha M. Daniels. I'm an actress here in LA, and I'm gearing up. One of my goals this year is to do Self-Tape May, and I was hoping you would extend it to TikTok for your Gen Z girlies. Like, I wonder if you would still view them and check them out over there. So that's the question I have for you today.
Hey, girl. Hey. I love my Gen Z fellows. Yes, my sister's a Gen Z, and so I hear you. I'm with you. I love and adore you. I am thrilled for you to do it on TikTok. And that sounds great. I still recommend that you sign up on selftapemay.com. If you prefer to use TikTok only instead of Instagram, just know that the community isn't as robust on the TikTok as it is on the Instagram. So if you yourself want to collaborate, find some people that are maybe in your market that you could be friends with, grab as readers, ask other people about their setup, find out who somebody's working with, or maybe are they coaching? Are they taking class? There's a lot of things that go into looking at other self-tapes and asking questions. So to me, I would recommend both if you want more involvement in the community. If it's for you and your practice and you just want to like get it done and get it up and get it out there, great. Honestly, post it wherever. Don't even post it. You don't have to get the actual credit for it on Self-Tape May if you don't want to. But if you want to, I recommend both. Do both C's. Jesse, can you tell me when they're finished with Self-Tape May and using the hashtags, can they enter manually that they have completed all 16 tapes? Yes. So Jesse's nodding his head yes, which means that even if you're not posting it to any platform, at the end of Self-Tape May, you can put in manually on selftapemay.com under your account that you have completed all 16 tapes. That way, when I post like, here's the people who've completed Self-Tape May 2025, because I post that every year, you are part of that post. Also, it enters you into a drawing for the Self-Tape May 2025 random drawing winner. So yeah, any platform, love it. Love it, here for it. Find me, follow me.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Any tips or tricks that you have, or any like words of encouragement or discouragement for anyone who is either wanting to do it for the first time or wanting to do it again after maybe having not done it for a second, but maybe they feel like a little malaise right now. And they're like, I know it would be good for me, but like I have malaise.
I get it. I get it. That's the life. Like that's
life.
The life that we have as an artist. It's like we have to function as humans that work jobs and pay our bills and have things that happen in our lives. And then, but we still have to be acting and we still have to be creative and we still have to be doing all that. So I know the story for everyone. And my words of encouragement are just like, I am so glad I did it. Like I have no regrets. I would have regretted not doing it. But I have to say, I mean, it was a slog. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. But the truth is that like I'm proud. I'm proud of myself.
Yes.
Like I did push through. I did it, and I'm proud of some of the tapes I did. I'm not proud of all the tapes. I still posted them, even if I wasn't proud of them.
Love it.
So grateful that I did it for so many reasons. Right, like figuring out my setup, getting myself in a situation where now when I have auditions, I'm ready, and then like. Look how cool it turned out. I'm here talking to Audrey because of it. Yeah, and then amazing. Made a connection with Jeff, and now I have that coach and that person to help me for like when those big auditions come up. And so I would have regretted not doing it, even though I was in a place where I definitely was like, I'm doing this for myself. I don't have to do this. No one's making me do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in general.
Yeah.
I think it's easy in life, but definitely as actors, to get into like a place of feeling victimized because life happens to you, and then you're like, but I need things to be away so that I can do my acting, which is very real. It's a lot on top of a lot. And I think for everyone to start to practice, I show up. And sometimes I show up like scraping by, and sometimes I show up like ready to go. But also knowing what you need to show up and get where you need to go eventually is what being a working actor is. If you're working on something and it's shooting 9 months, there are going to be days just like any day job where like you don't want to go to work. You're tired and you're burnt out and there's some drama happening on set, or you're sick, or someone that you love is sick, or all kinds of things. Crazy things happen, and you have to show up. And learning how you best do that in practice will give you the confidence to know that you are ready when you get there. Awesome. Okay, so you can do it again?
Yeah.
Great.
For sure.
Really great. Okay, so one thing that we're doing this season is we're doing like small wins.
Small wins.
We're just doing some sections of small wins, but also could be big wins. And we're just going to like sit here and celebrate you. So do you have any wins?
I mean, I feel like I've had a lot of wins.
Right, give them to me.
I mean, literally every time I pay my rent by myself.
We're all ready? Yes!
Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're doing it.
That's real though. People don't understand like, yeah, I'm doing that and still acting.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So that also like excited about the audition I had on Sunday.
Yay!
Yeah. Like that feels good. I feel like I'm getting better at doing improv. Like, because now I know, I'm like, oh, I made mistakes, but I know the mistakes I made.
Wow, that's really
which is like different than like, I don't know, I went in there and did the thing and
what happened?
I didn't die. So I guess wins for me are like staying here, loving being in LA, and still auditioning and still acting and still finishing self-tape me.
Yes. Also, I just love that you're acknowledging the win in your experience of that Herald audition now versus any time before.
Yeah.
Because you have a confidence now where you're not just trying to survive the Herald auditions, but you're actually like, oh, so what could or would I do differently? And you guys, that's getting better at things. That's just how that works. And that might be the exact same thing that we're doing with Self-Tape May, is you're just going to do it until you get over the panic of it happening, and then can start getting into like the artistry of what you're doing. All right, so tell everyone about your socials.
Yeah, I mean, Natalie Keezer. It's just me.
Tell everyone how you spell it. I want everyone to.
So it's NATALIE KEEZER. If you are in my age range, you remember the band Weezer. So it's just Weezer, but with a K. But yeah, I have 2 Instagrams. I've got the one where like it's just me and you can just see me hanging out with my friends and my family and doing my thing. And I also have my self-tape Instagram where I post my self-tapes that I do with Audrey and the community.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really encourage everyone to go in and take a look at both pages. And one of the things that is so great is making friends, even if you're not in that town yet. And this is such an outstanding way to do that is, finding people that are maybe in whatever market you're going to go to and watching their tapes and becoming friends with them and then saying, I'd love to be a reader for you if you ever need one virtually. And that way you're just sort of starting to build the community of where you want to go as well. I'm just full of great ideas. You guys, you're welcome.
That's facts, though. That's true. That's so real.
She said that's facts.
Yes.
Okay, now, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I think, so this is probably like a very big, maybe loaded question, but I know, like we talked about earlier, how much you love Los Angeles. Like you love the city and you love everything that it is, even aside from like the industry and stuff. So for me, like, I just feel like, there's just so much talk about people leaving. What are you I'm just going to say, what are your feelings on all of that? What are your thoughts?
A lot of people leaving?
Leaving because they're saying there's not the work here that there was. And
God, I love it when people leave. I have to say, I do. I love it when people leave, especially if you're in my category. If you could just move to New Zealand, that would be great. I love it when people leave for a few reasons. I'm a big believer in we have to answer the call. Anytime we're not answering that call, we're working against ourselves and there's a lot of pain. And the bigger that gap gets, the greater that pain gets because you can't move forward, but you can't go back. And so you're just in this paralyzed state because both feel scary and overwhelming. And in terms of there's no work here anymore, that's just not true.
I don't.
And I would say what I find happens is people's life priorities change. And it's really easy to be out here in your early mid-20s when it's like, we're all broke and we're just having a good time here. But it gets harder as you may get married and then want children. You may have children and become a single parent. You might have a medical condition that occurs, that happens all the time, or someone you love gets a medical condition that occurs. A big thing that starts to happen like in the 30s, I feel like it's everyone sort of figuring out family planning land.
Yeah.
Like, do I want to have a family? Am I going to continue to push family aside for acting?
Right.
And then if the answer is no, then figuring out how the math, if we truly acknowledge our time, energy, and money is not infinite,
right,
then you just have to know if you are one day living a life where you don't have a baby, and then the next day you're living a life where you do have a baby, like your time, energy, and money math is just changed. And I do think that occurs. And all I can say is from a showrunner and executive point of view of the people I know in that position, people are being brought back to Los Angeles. Also, people think of production as like a single arm. And I have to say, this business is an octopus, you guys. There is the arm of commercials. And so you will have a year or two where you are just shredding in commercials. And you're just like, I cannot get enough of this commercial money. And then you will weirdly be dry theatrically. And you're like, I don't know, is anyone auditioning? I don't know. And then suddenly commercials will get a little bit drier. And then suddenly it's like movies exist. Like, you guys, 51 films have been greenlit for Los Angeles with a new tax credit. There haven't been that many films shooting in Los Angeles since I got here. Wow, like, it is a huge win. And I had thrown in the towel on movies. I was like, movies are dead. I had put the tombstone up. My poor husband, who loves film, I've been like, film is dead. I don't know. You should get television. No, film's dead. And here I am, an AMC Plus member now. So there is plenty of work to be had here.
Right.
And anyone who's been here for a while will tell you that right now there is a part of the industry that is really booming and we're all auditioning a lot. And then there are parts of the industry that are more anemic. And that's why I think diversification in your acting career is a great and smart thing, not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a person who can diversify, I think that's very good. And I don't know, people leaving, I couldn't be happier about it.
I love that answer so much. I love that answer.
Traffic's lighter,
Yeah.
rent goes down, prices adjust,
Yeah.
and my category maybe gets like, is Audrey still there? Well, yes, she is. She's available to hire. And I nerd out about the fact that like so many of the world's greatest artists are here.
Yeah, and
In
you
all
get
of
to
it.
go see them. Like that's the
all
thing.
the
You get to
time.
just go see. Like you can go to Vidiots and like go see a talkback.
Yes.
With like some incredible people. And
Yes.
like I just saw a talkback with Sean Baker at the AMC. Speaking of which, it's just
Yeah.
like you get to do that in LA.
All the time. I love it. Well, listen, here's the other thing too. A lot of people haven't lived in other places, I will say. I'm from the desert.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
I lived in Boston. Got it. I lived in New York. Got it. Lived in London. Got it.
Yeah.
I know what it is to live in other metropolitan areas, and I know what it is to live in Nowheresville, and I know what it is to live in places that are quote unquote cheap. And I'm just really grateful to be in California and Southern California in specific.
Agreed.
Now more than ever.
Can I just say though, other places are not that cheap anymore either. I just want to throw that out there. When people are like, "You moved from Salt Lake," I'm like, "Yeah, it's expensive there."
Yes.
Incredible people.
Yes.
Tons of arts.
Great.
So much,
so much arts and culture.
But if you're thinking that it's gonna be so much cheaper, that's not actually.
Yeah, I mean, listen, because I go back home and I am horrified by the prices because the income hasn't gone up in Albuquerque. I know what people are getting paid. They're not getting paid California income. They're getting paid now Albuquerque income, and it's just become California prices. And I truly don't know how anyone is doing any of that. It just seems completely impossible to me.
Yeah.
And also acknowledging financially worth it is not the only thing to consider.
Absolutely. Yeah,
But
for sure.
But using the thoughts of it's much cheaper, I agree with you. I don't think that's true anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're shoring up the gap, you guys. Welcome to California prices. Okay, so what is a way that you, going forward, are going to give yourself some grace?
I think going back to like taking the little wins, being like really proud of them, like feeling like, I think it's really easy to say like, oh, well, you didn't get cast. I'm like, I know, but I got to audition. Like they asked me to. And sometimes just celebrating the fact that I did it. Because sometimes, like I said earlier, some days I'm just like, I don't have to do this. No one's making me do this. I'm choosing to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to also ask, how are you going to go forward and give grace to others?
My mom, I always have to give my mom grace. Always. Every day.
I literally was going to say,
I
give my
literally
mom
wake up
grace.
every morning and I'm like, be nicer to your mom. She's always the one.
I was going to be like, I'm going to give my mom grace because I have no choice and it's in my best interest too.
Seriously.
So that's also, I want to, but sometimes it's just like, what are our options here, Audrey?
Yeah.
We give her grace or we don't. And so let's just, it's going to, great.
Yep.
I like that we have that in common. It's good. Wonderful. Well, anything mildly interesting?
A little obsessed with honey.
Oh.
With like local honey because, and I'll tell you why. I have allergies to everything. Not everything, that's not, but anything outside. Plants. The plants. You do okay, great.
Everything else.
It's like plants. If anything changes, if the wind blows in like a weird way, like they just pick up. If I go from Southern California to Northern California, which that's where my I've got family up there, so I go up there a lot. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I have like a tablespoon of, and it has to be local honey from flowers. I love Jesse's nodding like, yes, I know what you're talking about. If I have a tablespoon of that every day, I feel like my allergies are like
so
manageable. I nerd out a little bit about local
it.
honey. If anyone has allergies, they are like, please stop telling me about honey. I just want to take an Allegra and please leave me alone.
Porque no los dos. Yes, porque no los dos. I am going to mildly interesting a tactic I have, which is a lot of people are looking at their spending habits. And I have started this thing where anytime I feel like I want to just shop, just like, I just want to make myself, what's on Amazon?
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm excited to hear this.
What does Etsy have for me? It's not going to be exciting. So I just FYI, but it works. Instead, I clean something.
Nice.
And it's because like I have a lot of shit already.
Right.
And if I'm like, okay, you can get that, but you're going to have to clean that cupboard. And then if I clean the cupboard, I feel like definitely don't need that anymore. That's been a really great technique. And it has helped me in terms of also just like getting rid of stuff, but also not collecting more stuff. I don't need more stuff. Do you know who gave me the idea to clean instead of buy?
No.
Watching my mom's life, because I give her grace. Thinking about cleaning that place up one day.
Well, it's a thing that you have to think about now all the time. We think about this now.
Can we do dead dad math before we wrap?
Oh,
I've been wanting to do this because I think people need to know dead dad math. I want everyone to know that the dads start dying in your 40s. Not in your 50s, not in your 60s. They start dying in your 40s. My friends' dads, my stepdad, my husband's dad, just like boom, 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 all gone. And so I thought somebody should tell people about the dad math, because my friend said about going home. If you go home twice a year, let's say you're 30, and somebody were to say to you, okay, the dads start dying when you're 40, and you go home twice a year, then you have 20 more times you're going to see your dad. And if you knew that you were going to have 20 more times to see your dad, what, if anything, would you do differently?
Those are the things I think about like all the time.
Yeah.
You know, because my dad was one of those people that was like, we would talk on the phone, but it was like you could hit him at a good time and like really get a good conversation going. Or sometimes it was just like, oh, okay, Dad, what's going on? What's happening?
Yeah.
So I did have an epiphany one day that I was like, I need to figure out how to spend more quality time with my dad because he is getting older. And so I was like, I'm gonna have him teach me how to play the trumpet. Like that's what I'm gonna do. And so like we weren't able to do it in person because we didn't live in the same place, but like we would meet on Zoom, and like he taught me and he started teaching me how to do that. And like I'm so grateful for just having that like
that awareness,
that like thought like that came, because it was just like those are definitely some like really great memories that I have. And then also when I have a lot of regrets, because that's also the fun thing you get to deal with in grief. Why was I so busy? It's like why did I think I was so busy? Like I couldn't Zoom with him, I couldn't call him, I didn't. So like,
well, you think you're gonna have more time?
Yeah.
That's why I wanted everyone to know like the actual math, because I just watching it occur over these last few years has been kind of astonishing to me. And having so many friends sort of hit that marker point-ish. And then the dads just start going. Again,
too, the bigger reason where I'm like, be nice to your mom.
Yeah.
And I have to give a shout out to my mom, because you know she's going to listen. And she's hearing this and she's like...
Ask me how many seasons I've done this.
How many seasons have you done this?
I started in 2017. Ask me if my mom has listened to a single episode.
Has your mom listened to a single episode?
I don't think so.
Like if she has, she hasn't told me.
That's right. Yeah. And that's a distinct possibility.
Yeah.
But either way, we're giving her grace.
Yes.
Well, listen, I'm so glad you came on. Congratulations to winning.
Thank
and
you.
I look forward to seeing what you do this year. And welcome to LA. And continuing to keep a community, grow a career in the face of all the doubts and all the compare and despair. I know that it can get deep, but you're doing great, and I look forward to more.
It was so fun being on the show with you. I mean, talk about nerding out. I'm like, I used to listen to you in Utah, and you're like famous, and now I'm like, here I am, like meeting you in person.
Next week on Audrey Helps Actors, we have Sarah Gardner, the sweetest, most wonderful. There's a surprise in store for Sarah, and I can't wait for you to hear about it. Special thanks to Natalie. Natalie, you're adorable and awesome and just really, truly an inspiration. A lot of people are going to listen to this episode and feel better about their choice to possibly leave for a second time, come back for a second time. If you are a person who listened to that and you thought, oh, that's refreshing, that's satisfying, I also encourage you to listen to Emily Berry's episode, because that Emily Berrytown, she sure did leave Los Angeles 5 different times and come back, and she works all the time. This episode was mixed and mastered by Thomas Snodgrass, produced and edited by Jesse Lumen. Still so handsome. I mean, what is a girl to do? Get fucked, I guess. Show music by Ari De Niro. Theme song by Aalok Mehta and 108 Hill. Don't forget your towel!